Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? Is it a monster?
Hello for this spooky, only slightly late for Halloween edition of the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. Welcome back to our regulars, in particular welcome back to last week's champions, Katrina and the Second Waves, who were storming it, as I recall. But don't be put off, maybe they will fall in fear at the first hurdle this week. And welcome, of course, to anyone who is new to the Quizcazoatl Publess Quiz. If you are new, then you need to know that you can go and download our pictures. We'll be showing some picture questions in a minute. You can get a little ahead of the curve by downloading the picture sheet at bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures. A clickable version of that link should be there somewhere on the Facebook page and in the About section on the YouTube channel. While you're at it, why not also designate a marker for your team and open a marking sheet at bit.ly/quizcazoatl-answers, or else how will everyone else know how well you do? And of course, if you do badly, that'll only cheer them up, so think of it as your good deed for the week. The Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz is a quiz in 4 parts. Very shortly we will be starting on round 1. That'll be the first half of our pictures, plus some questions I'll read you. We'll then head to a music round. Round 2 is more questions, more pictures, and a little bit more audio, and we close with the Quizcazoatl Wipeout round. How exciting is that? The whole kit and caboodle is carefully scheduled to take about 2.5 hours. So if you're playing in the UK, that'll take us to around about 10:30. And as ever, welcome especially to everyone who's made the effort to play from over the seas. Very glad we are to have you with us. And that is enough quadmin for now, except of course to say don't just Google the answers. Where's the fun in that? And here we go. Let me get you started with question number 1. Can you tell me which of these 2 words would score more in a game of UK Scrabble? Is it trick or is it treat? Which word gives more points in UK Scrabble? And I'll interrupt you searching through your respective tile bags. Is that like Googling? Maybe. And I'll give you question 2 as well. Can you tell me what 5-letter word describes a person who intentionally, imagine that, tries to instigate arguments online? Online arguments? Never on Quizcazoatl since Eric quit the chat, mainly. What 5-letter word is a person who intentionally tries to instigate arguments? And question 3 takes us to our first picture of the day, and we have for you 7 celebrities out trick-or-treating. It's been a tough time even for celebrities. They can't get free sweeties anymore, except by asking. Can you identify these 7 people only from their faces? Alrighty, question number 4 are coming. In the Gregorian calendar, how many months of the year have got 31 days in? Excluding leap years. In the Gregorian calendar, how many months of the year have 31 days? If you want, you can give me 2 answers. One for a normal year and one for a leap year. Only 1 point, though. And we'll move along. Question number 5. Which 3 countries, including one partially recognised state, border the Dead Sea? Which 3 countries, including one state that is only partially recognised, border the Dead Sea? 3 answers, 3 points on that one. Question number 6. is picture number 2. And as oft times we do, we have some Venn diagrams for you. In the ovoids of set theory, can you tell me what could replace these 3 question marks to fill the pairs of sets? There's an example on the left if you need it. Where planets meets chocky bars. 3 question marks, 3 points available. On we go. Question number 7. Can you tell me which Pixar film did Heston Blumenthal recently describe as the most accurate gastronomic film about 3 Michelin star cooking? And question number 8. Can you name for me 4 chemical elements that have English names that contain the letters X or Z? For those of you watching in black and white or America, that's Z. And name the 4 chemical elements that have English names containing the letters X or Z. Alrighty, we'll move along to question 9, which is picture number 3. And we got some trick-or-treating sweetings. 6 sweeties to identify, 1 point per sweet. The number of hyphens, dashes or underscores is indicative of the number of letters in each answer. 6 points available on that one. And question number 10. Can you tell me which DIY chain, which sells a wide variety of murder weapons, was founded by Richard Block and David Quayle in 1969? Which DIY chain selling a wide variety of murder weapons was founded by Richard Block and David Quayle? And question number 11. And can you tell me which former Southampton footballer started every English Premier League match for the winners of the 2019 to 20 title? Did you follow that? Which former Southampton footballer in the men's football started every English Premier League match for the winners of the 2019-20 title? And question 12 takes us to picture number 4. And it is time for some spooky films. How seasonal! 6 images from 6 films. All you got to do is name them for 6 points. And on we go. Time for a spot prize question, as our regulars will well know. Well, for the rest of the quiz, you are shackled to your team like a nation to a corpse. In the spot prize, it's all about you. You are allowed and encouraged to send your best guess for the answer to this question into me via the email address quizcazoatl@gmail.com, through the Facebook Messenger, through WhatsApp, any other way you think you'll get my attention. Don't post your answers in the chat though, that is not very private. Anyway, I will work out who had the closest answer by question 17. Gives you a little time to get to it. And the question is, according to the automotive website Visor, how many Lamborghini Diablos were made? The car was in production from 1990 to 2001. For this week's spot prize, first spot prize, tell me how many Lamborghini Diablos were ever made. You have a little time to think about it. Alrighty, well, you can keep submitting those answers for a few questions yet. In the meantime, on we go to question number 13. Can you tell me, what do gazpacho soup and revenge have in common, according to the saying? What do gazpacho soup and revenge have in common? And on to question 14. It's picture number 5, predictive texts. Jam your thumbs like it was 2003 and solve for me. What are these two numerically represented words which are also places for the dead? 2 points available. And onwards we are to question 15. Can you name for me, for 4 points, the 4 train stations on the original London Monopoly board? And they all, loosely speaking, contain a spooky, gory, or saintly element. 4 stations, 4 points. And that being question 15, it is time, if you want to get in a spot prize guess, to get it in. I can tell you, I haven't had many in. So, it's an open invitation. How many Lamborghini Diablos manufactured from 1990 through to 2001? And I'll take us on question number 16. What three words come before white in the title of a novel by Wilkie Collins, and before black in a novel, the title of a novel by Susan Hill? I don't think it's just in the novel. That wouldn't be fair, would it? What words are in this novel? Alrighty, onwards we go to question 17, which is picture number 6. And we have some cattish logos for you. Are you feline good? 5 points if you can identify the 5 feline logos we have here. Brand, company, or organisation as appropriate. I can also tell you that we have our answers in for the spot prize. We have 3 answers in, which is not as many as I was hoping for, but I guess no one felt strongly about the cars. Mike said 11. That is in the great Goldilocks of life, too few. Kiki said 16,000. That, I fear, in the great Goldilocks of life was too many. That means Mike's dad coming in the comment thread showing that you can use that to answer and still be successful. Mike's dad with a guess of 1,500 is closest to the correct answer, which was 2,903. Well played, Mike's dad. If this can be organised, and if you're here in 2 weeks' time, you will be on for a t-shirt tie-break. Probably have to tell me which is this Mike from the WHO? Which Mike is Mike? And who is his dad? All these questions and more. And as we come closing in on the end of round 1, we head to question 18. Can you tell me which Carthaginian general famously invaded Italy by crossing the Alps with a herd of North African war elephants? Which Carthaginian brought war elephants to invade Italy? Question number 19, it's picture number 7. Our last picture for round 1. We have 4 famous faces of people who died in the same year. It was a bad year. Can you name all 4 of these? And for a 5th point, tell me the year in which they were born. We'll give you one either way on the year. I've been asked, was it the year they died, not born? It is. I meant to say died. If I said born, and then please bear with me. And our final question for round 1, question number 20, also known as thrombosities, probably after the Greek philosopher. What P is a component of blood that reacts to bleeding by clumping, thereby initiating a blood clot? Could be thrombocytes, couldn't it? But I like thrombosities. Also known as thrombocytes. What P is a component of blood that react to bleeding by clumping and initiating a blood clot? Well, that is the end of round 1. I am going to give you a 7-minute little breaklet to finalise your answers. Grab yourself a drink, take a rest break, go for a cigarette. Not healthy, is it? I mean, at this age, in 2022, what are you doing to yourself? Come on! But you've got 7 minutes to do it. We will be back after that. Submit your answers by the end of the 7 minutes, if you will, and click on through to the music round sheet. We'll see you then. Alrighty, we are back and ready to rock, for it is time for the music round. For anyone who has not yet submitted their answers, do hit submit now. I will be sending around marking links at some point during the music, so designated markers, eyes down, looking in. In the music round, as our regulars well know, I am going to be playing you 6 songs spanning the decades from the 1960s through the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties and into the 10s. For each song, all I ask of you is tell me who performed it and what is its name. 1 point for the song, 1 point for the artist. In the unusual but not unprecedented event that 2 artists collaborate on a track, do give me both of them. It'll be half a point each. Capiche? I'm going to play you the 6 song snippets, give you a moment, and then play them for you again. Here we go.
Just like an angel, your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag. Now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head.
Alrighty, for one last chance to submit your round one answers. If you haven't done so yet, hit submit now. I have, thus far, answers from the one and cut only. Sounds a bit hippie to me. The bio bit chairs, the Lins, and the lockdown haircuts. If your name isn't on that list, hit submit. If you've already hit submit, feel free to send me a message. Maybe just lost in the tubes for a moment. In the meantime, here we go again with the second playthrough of the music.
I hear hurricanes are blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I feel rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of rage and ruin. Don't go around tonight, but it's bound to take your life. So many are paid to see what you think you get it for free. The woman is wild, she can't tame by the perfect jaguar. Money's a matter. If you're in it for love, you ain't gonna get too far. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag. Now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest. Now he takes off her dress. Now let me go. Yeah. Don't complicate it. Yeah. 'Cause I know you and you know everything about me. I can't remember all of the nights I don't remember when you're around me. I've been dancing on top of cars and stumbling out of bars. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough. You're the medicine and the pain, the tattoo inside my brain, and baby you know it's obvious.
Righty, hopefully you worked all of those out. You can think about it for a moment longer, unless you are the designated marker, in which case you should have received your marking link. Please do open it up, and we will get on to the round one marking. As ever, every question in the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, or every answer, is worth a point. That means several of these questions are multi-point questions. Capiche? We'll explain it as we go. Question number one. Let's just check the answer sheets have populated. It is looking good. Although, the points from last week only just disappeared from one of them. Alright, hang on. Maybe there's a hold-up. What's wrong with Team 4? I ask myself. Okay, looking better. No, that one's still last week. If your answer sheet isn't showing the right thing, oh yes, just hit refresh. Excellent, right. Question 1, I asked you, which word would score more in Scrabble between trick or treat? And the answer, of course, with the K especially, is trick. 11 points for trick, only 5 for a treat. Question number 2. A person who instigates arguments online is, of course, called a troll. If anyone's written anything else, just ignore them. Troll for the point. Question 3. We had some celebrities in outfits, and they were from left to right. It's not an ordering quiz, I hasten to remind you, so do give the points if you see the names, even if they're all higgledy-piggledy. First off on the left, we had, of the Suicide Squad, it's Margot Robbie. Then we have Lil Nas X. The next one is Harry Styles. Then we have Aisling Bea. It's not a spelling test either, or even an Irish cultural quiz, so accept a generous range of spellings on Aisling as you need to. Then we had Amy Schumer. Number 5, then Jack Whitehall, and finally, warming up for Christmas, it was, of course, Mariah Carey. There's again Margot Robbie, Lil Nas X, Harry Styles, Aisling Bea, Amy Schumer, Jack Whitehall, and Mariah Carey, a total of 7 points available. Question 4, how many months of the year have 31 days? One team optimistically said 12, cramming in those extra days. I fear the answer is only 7. That are still short months. My apologies if all of my chuntering about leap years did for you. Obviously, the leap year makes not the tiniest bit of difference. 7 for the point. Question 5, the 3 countries. Is this a political statement from the quiz? 3 countries bordering the Dead Sea are Israel, Jordan and Palestine. Israel, Jordan and Palestine. If you didn't put Palestine, which of the other countries did you think was contested? Anyway, 3 points there. On to the Venn diagrams for question 6. For the first one, we had scientists, or the start thereof, meets amphibians, and we were looking for newt. For the second one, we had the grave. That is accents and diacritics intersecting with serious things. And finally, we had Professor Green. Not Dr. Plum, I'm afraid, but worth a go. Professor Green. Question 7, that was newt, grave, and Professor Green. Question 7, we were looking for Ratatouille. Heston Blumenthal did qualify his statement by saying, if you take away the rats, just to be fair to him. Then question 8, we have 4 elements. They are oxygen, xenon, zinc, and zirconium. Ununhexium sounds like a good name for an element. I'm not convinced it exists, though. Oh, it is a thing. Oh, it's the temporary name of a synthetic super heavy. Well, I never. We will allow ununhexium for a point 4. It is an element of sorts. So if you are marking the team that put ununhexium, do give them the point for that. Any other controversial ones? No, that looks like we've covered the bases. Excellent. Question 9. 6 sweets to name, and they were jelly babies, tangfastics, difficult to say, nerds, squashies, fruit pastels, and finally Fruitella. Jelly babies, tangfastics, nerds, squashies, fruit pastels, and Fruitella. The murder shop, as you all worked out for question 10, was B&Q. And then the former Southampton player who won the Premier League in 2019-20, we were after Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. I'm pretty sure Lionel Messi never played for Southampton. If anyone else would like to query it, do please Google it first, and then if you think you have a point, then you can let me know. Question 12. We had some spooky films for you. Scary stuff. First off, it was Halloween Ends. We didn't say franchises on this one. We did say films, so I only give half a point for Halloween. That is Halloween Ends. It's tough but fair. We then had The Thing. Goosebumps was the third one. Then Nope. Fifth, An American Werewolf in London. And finally, we have Christian Bale appearing in American Psycho. Those again. Halloween Ends, The Thing, Goosebumps, Nope, An American Werewolf in London, and American Psycho. Onwards we go to question 13. Gazpacho soup, as Rimmer never knew, and Revenge are both best served cold. Best served cold for a point. And question 14, you all got the predictive texts. It's Cemetery and Morgue, well played. And then on we go to the Monopoly board, where we find these stations are King's Cross, Marylebone, Fenchurch Street, and Liverpool Street. I tried to work out why Fen was scary, but of course they were playing on church. They did say loosely. King's Cross, Marylebone, Fenchurch Street, and Liverpool Street for those points. Question 16. 3 words we were looking for that come before white. And the words are The Woman In. Cato put woman in, which strictly speaking for 3 words is a stretch. However, Cato, or Team 1, knows no horror films, it seems. So give him the full point. He needs it. Question 17. We have 5 feline logos for you. And they were, first off, Hello Kitty. Then Jaguar. Then the eyes were from Cats, the musical. If you just put Cats, I guess that's fine. The next one was Sunderland. Sunderland was the football team. AFC Sunderland. And finally, Jellycat, whatever that means. Hello Kitty and Jaguar. Cats, Sunderland, and Jellycat. For question 18, Cato says, Carthago delenda est, and indeed all the elephants did die, and they were led by Hannibal. Hannibal for a point. Question 19. We have... Our latterly dead celebrities were Elvis Presley, Groucho Marx, Mark Bolan, and they died in... and Charlie Chaplin, I should say. He grew up just round the corner from my house, as it happens. Our house became a cinema soon afterwards, but he never came, so far as we can tell. So there you go. Elvis Presley, Groucho Marx, Mark Bolan, and Charlie Chaplin, and they died in 1977. That means that if you were in the gap 76 to 78, you get a point. If you put the year 196,571, that is too far away. As is 1972, I'm afraid, and 1979, but closer. So don't be down on yourselves. And finally, the bit in the blood that clots the thrombocytes, it's not plasma. Goodness no, it's platelets. Platelets clot. Well done those who got it. I will come back to you with scores update in my own good time, if I think of it. In the meantime, let me get you started on round 2. Well, that means it's time to click through from your music round answers to the next sheet if you haven't done so already. And here comes an anagram for you. Can you rearrange for me the letters of my hell years to find the name of an author? MYHELLYEARS. We're looking for the name of an author. I should also note, we discussed Mike's dad winning the first spot prize. Mike says his dad won't be here next week. I will remind you we're only fortnightly, so if he will be here in 2 weeks, so much the better. Otherwise, he still has an angle on some Quizcazoatl memorabilia. If he can get the second spot prize as well, that is an automatic win on the much desired Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz t-shirt. And after the first round, I can tell you the following. In a very respectable 6th place, we have the One and Cat Only on 35 points. In 5th place, it is a new team for us, the Bio Bitches, on 40.5. Oh, I say that, joint 4th, I should say. The Bio Bitches level with the Lockdown Haircuts on 40.5. The WHO are in 3rd on 45, which means 2 Quizcazoatl stalwarts, neither of whom has won in a while, are in the top 2 places. The Lins are in 2nd on 48.5. And in the lead, sounds a bit hippie to me, have 51.5. So, everything to play for in round 2. Alrighty, you can keep thinking about that anagram just as long as you need to. We're going to question number 2. And can you tell me which coffee house chain is famously associated with the pumpkin spice latte? If you watch The Daily Show or such, you will know that the Americans get carried away with this, it seems. I have no great interest in it myself, but which coffee house produces it? Further periodic table news. Ununhexium is no longer a live name, I have discovered. I am not going to dock the point, because you can't go around expecting elements to be renamed while you're not looking, can you now? But it was Ununhexium, which basically is fancy language for 116. Was an interim name. It has been named Livermorium, after the Lawrence Liverpool National Laboratory. So now you know. No more Ununhexium. And we'll go to question number 3, which is our first picture of round 2. It's some initials. Here we have some phrases that include blood. All rather grim. Can you work all 4 of them out from the initials only for 4 points? Onwards we go to question number 4. Can you tell me what word, meaning a place habitually frequented, derives from the Old English meaning to bring home? What word, meaning a place habitually frequented, Derives from the Old English meaning to bring home. And onward we go. Question number 5. Which British TV programme used the strapline MI5, not 9 to 5? Which British TV show used the strapline MI5, not 9 to 5? Alrighty, let's go to question 6, and then we're going to do some music round marking. So, designated markers, feel free to get your answer sheets back up when you have a moment. First off, music round. Picture number 9. And we have 6 TV shows for you. Can you name the TV shows from these pieces of still photography? 6 pictures, 6 points available. Alright then, designated markers, eyes down looking in. Let's go to the music round. Our first song from the 1960s, the song Bad Moon Rising, and that was Creedence Clearwater Revival. We'll allow CCR, Creedence Clearwater Survival, possibly Creedence Clearwater Revival. One team put CCR, will allow that. Bad Moon on the Rise, however, it's not quite right, is it? So half a point for Bad Moon on the Rise. Bad Moon Rising is the song. Into the 70s, and we were on the Highway to Hell. That was with AC/DC, Akadaka, AC/DC. Into the 1980s, early for Metallica, aside from anything else. Into the 1980s, the song was Maneater, and that was it wasn't the Pet Shop Boys, it was Hall & Oates. Shouldn't read the wrong answers and the right answers at the same time. Hall & Oates we were after. It was Daryl Hall and John Oates. So strictly speaking, John Hall & Oates may have to dock a half point. I let you off on CCR, but you have got your Oateses and your Halls mixed up, so I suppose it's okay. Let's be generous. Give them a point for Hall & Oates. One of them was called John. It was really the Hall & Oates we were looking for. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Into the 90s, the song was Creep, and the band was Radiohead. Testing my generosity, team number 3, I see, have managed to get the song name and the band name the wrong way round on this one. We'll assume that is a transcription error and give them a third contentious point. Goodness me, how nice can one get? Into the 2000s, the song was Mr. Brightside. That was by The Killers. Killers is fine, or The Killers. Into the 2010s, not many of you knew this, and correctly not. We were looking for Sucker. And that is by the Jonas Brothers, whoever they are. Did they feature in a South Park episode about chastity rings once? Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. Those again quickly. Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater. Highway to Hell by AC/DC. Maneater by Hall & Oates. Creep by Radiohead. Mr. Brightside by The Killers. And Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. And for anyone who isn't involved in the marking, I'll give you another question. Don't be bored. We'll come back eventually. Well, what word can be spelt by adding the chemical symbols for the lightest element and the suggested metal for killing werewolves? What word can be spelt by adding the chemical symbol for the lightest element and the suggested metal for killing, and the symbol of the suggested metal for killing werewolves? On we go, question number 8. And it's an audio question. We're going to give you some mystery voices. I will play for you 3 voices, I believe. I'll actually check. It's normally 3, isn't it? I'll play you 3 people speaking. Listen to what they say. Listen to what they sound like. See whether you can tell me who these people all are. Not the Chris pressed the wrong button noise. Let's try that again.
Number 1.
I think it's actually quite balming to have horror stories or supernatural stories. In a way, I find them quite nostalgic. They remind me of being a child because, they're a very close relation to fairy stories.
Number 2.
And is very open and flexible and has no ego problem about ideas that you may suggest. Jonathan, but how would you like to be seen? Would you like to be lying on the bed or sitting on a chair, writing or drawing or reading? I'd like to be seen standing upright at attention in the middle of the cell. And he took that in for a moment. He said, okay, well, let's have a look at it. And they did a camera rehearsal on camera. And he had a video monitor there, which you could see. And his reaction was one of, yeah.
Number 3.
We find Laurie Strode in isolation. Trauma isolates people. Trauma that is untreated, uncared for, and has wreaked the havoc that trauma will wreak on a human being.
And we'll have those one more time.
Number 1.
I think it's actually quite balming to have horror stories or supernatural stories. In a way, I find them quite nostalgic. They remind me of being a child because, they're a very close relation to fairy stories.
Number 2.
And is very open and flexible and has no ego problem about ideas that you may suggest. Jonathan, but how would you like to be seen? Would you like to be lying on the bed or sitting on a chair, writing or drawing or reading? I'd like to be seen standing upright at attention in the middle of the cell. And he took that in for a moment. He said, okay, well, let's have a look at it. And they did a camera rehearsal on camera. And he had a video monitor there, which you could see. And his reaction was one of, yeah.
Number 3.
We find Laurie Strode in isolation. Trauma isolates people. Trauma that is untreated, uncared for, and has wreaked the havoc that trauma will wreak on a human being.
On to question number 9. Can you tell me what brand name is used by the Consumers Association offering independent advice on products and services? What brand name is used by the Consumers Association offering independent advice on products and services? And on to question 10, where the picture numbers meet the question numbers, and excited we always are. It is this week. What the dickens is it this week? It's a bone idol. We have 6 bones for you to identify on this attractive specimen. 6 bones, 6 points available. As always, the underscores indicate the number of letters. I can also give you a score update. Now we have 2 rounds of scores in. In 6th place, but there's only one of him. It's the one and cut only on 43. In 5th, the Lockdown Haircuts, 49.5. In 4th, the Bio Bitches, new and better on the music than the rest of you, on 52.5, just a point behind 3rd place, the World Health Organization. That means in the 2nd place we still have the Lins on 55.5, but extending their lead out in front, it sounds a bit hippie to me, on 60.5. Alrighty, on we go, and it's time for another spot prize question, as in the first round. And the spot prize is for all of you as individuals to enter. You can send me an answer on email, apparently through the chat, though I still don't really recommend it, and on the Facebook Messenger and such. Can you tell me your best guess, or in the event you know, tell me this, a grim statistic. According to government figures, in the year 2019 to 20, how many homicides were there in the United Kingdom? I can't tell you exactly when the homicide year starts. Is it the same as the tax year? Are most of them tax related? I can't tell you. But can you tell me how many there were? Get your answers in by the time we get to question 17. Mike's dad, if you can get closest to this one, you are on for some Quizcazoatl merch. Not available in the shops, you know. Alrighty, they are positively flooding in round 2. Everyone saw what an open goal it was in round 1. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try as well. Let's keep it competitive. Well, you will think about homicide as you do. Let's go to question 11 as well. What is the most often used method of murder in Agatha Christie's Poirot and Miss Marple series of novels? What is the most oft used murder method in Poirot and Miss Marple novels? Question 12 is another picture. It's picture 11. We've got 6 emojis for you. Can you give the official Unicode names that accompany these 6 emojis? Anu said that knowledge could be useless. 6 emojis, 6 points available. We go, question number 13. Can you tell me what fantasy sport has a real-life version that is also known as quad ball? What fantasy sport has a real-life incarnation known as quad ball? Question number 14. It's mashup time. I know that you haven't been assailed by enough terrible, terrible, terrible musical mashup today, and that all you are begging for is for it to happen, so here it comes. I'm going to play you 3 snippets of double songs, by which I mean one musical artist will be supplying the instrumentation, more or less, the other the words. All you've got to do is name the 6 artists, not the songs. I just need the names of the artists across these 3 mashups. That's 2 artists per mashup. I'll play them once and give you a moment and play them again.
Number 1.
Is a curious thing. Make a one man weep, make another man sing. Change your heart to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Number 2.
I had to go through hell to prove I'm not insane. Had to meet the devil just to know his name. And that's when my love was burning. There is still burning. I keep going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash out the pain. And that goes, I'm skipping all these demons away. But your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me away.
Number 3.
Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it.
Here we go. I'll give you it once more.
Number 1.
Is a curious thing. Make a one man weep, make another man sing. Change your heart to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Number 2.
I had to go through hell to prove I'm not insane. Had to meet the devil just to know his name. And that's when my love was burning. There is still burning. I keep going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash out the pain. And I know I'm skipping all these demons away, but your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me away. I keep going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash out the pain.
Number 3.
Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze, and so it looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is daylight night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's daylight night. You're fighting for your life inside of night.
Alrighty then. On we go. Question 15. It's another picture for you. It is picture 12. Some paraphrased desserts. Can you work out 6 desserts from these crypticized clues? And question 16. Who in Greek mythology was the very first woman? Her story seeks to explain why there is evil in the world. Who was the first woman in Greek mythology? And question number 17, our penultimate picture for this week's quiz. It is some missing vowels. We are looking for people or things that are missing body parts. And you'll see what you see when you see it, if that makes sense. 4 people or things are missing body parts. Question number 18. Can you tell me what is the largest city in the world by population that begins with the letters S-A-N? The largest city in the world by population, beginning with the letters S-A-N. Final picture for today. Picture number 14. And can you name for me 9 states of the United States of America, as indicated by the colours, and the words spelt out by their initial letters? I'm hoping that we have no teams who are entirely colourblind. Do feel free to ask through the comments if you would like to know what any of the details of the ordering are. Or use a pipette tool on your screen, I guess, if you're feeling technological. Our final question for round 2. Can you tell me what is the 5-letter name of the German legendary figure who sells his soul to the devil for knowledge and pleasure? The name of the German figure who sells his soul to the devil for knowledge and pleasure. And that is at the end of round 2. I'm going to give you a 4-minute countdown to finalise your answers and to get ready for the wipeout round. Do not be late. In case you're wondering, when you click through to the wipeout round, new players be warned, this is going to the next page of the Google form rather than to a new Google form. It is subtly different. I do not recommend clicking forwards and then coming back again. People have lost their answers that way in the past, so do so at your peril. See you in a minute. Welcome back. Welcome back, one and all. It is Wipeout time. That means hopefully you've already finalised your round 2 answers. If you haven't, well, make your minds up. In the Wipeout round, the rules change just a little. The last letter of every answer in the Wipeout round becomes the first letter of the next answer. It's 1 answer per question, so that's all simple. If you get all 6 of these questions correct, you get 2 bonus points. If, however, you get any one of these questions wrong, not just blank, but actively wrong, then you lose all of your Wipeout round points. So be careful when you're guessing. Hopefully that makes sense. With no further ado at all, here we go. Wipeout question number 1. Jim Steinman's current West End rock musical is based on which Meatloaf album? Wipeout question number 2. From which metal with atomic number 82 are bullets traditionally and most commonly made? From what metal are bullets traditionally made? Wipeout question number... Oh, I hit the wrong button. Wipeout seamless. Question number 3. The 1979 novel Nothing Lasts Forever, which is set in a skyscraper, is mostly known through its 1988 adaptation into which film? Wipeout question number 4. What is the common name for the fungus responsible for the majority of fatal mushroom poisonings worldwide? What is the common name for the fungus that is responsible for the majority of fatal mushroom poisonings worldwide? Fatal mushroom poisoning, I think, are a death metal band, aren't they? Wipeout. Question numero 5. Beneath which European city are there catacombs which are open to the public, housing the remains of over 6 million people? Beneath which European city are there catacombs open to the public that house the remains of over 6 million people? And our final question for another week of Quizcazoatl. What surname is shared by a Mark Twain character and by the family of killers in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What surname is shared by a Mark Twain character and by the family of killers in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And I'll give you a couple of minutes to make your final decisions. Do try and hit submit by the end of the countdown so that there is time for the answers to come through before we do the marking. Alrighty, I have answers from everyone except the one and cut only. So if you haven't hit submit yet, please do so now. Alrighty, well, hopefully Cato is still with us, but I don't have his answers quite yet. I am going to plough on regardless through to the marking. We'll catch up when it eventually pops up. So, here we go. Hopefully the answers have all populated. Ooh, maybe they haven't. Let's just give it a moment. Or hit refresh. Okay, that is looking good. If you haven't got your answers yet, just refresh the page, and here we go. And Cato, if you do think you've submitted, do let me know. I can have a look whether something has gone amiss in the tubes. We had, in round 2, our first question, my hell years. You all worked out it is Mary Shelley. Well done, everyone. Mary Shelley for the point. Question 2. The pumpkin spice latte is solved by Starbucks. And then question 3, we have 4 expressions that we're looking for. And they were blood, sweat and tears. Then blood is thicker than water. Then, Ryan, you may well be waiting on Cato, so that could explain why you have no answers. Let me quickly check who's marking what. Yes, that is adequately explained by the fact that I don't have any answers for the team you are marking. But thank you for checking in. Where were we? We were on blood, sweat and tears. Then we had blood is thicker than water. Then, like getting blood out of a stone. And finally, a rush of blood to the head. Blood, sweat and tears. Blood is thicker than water, like getting blood out of a stone, and a rush of blood to the head. 4 points. Question 4. A place habitually frequented is from the Old English haunt. Well done, those of you who worked that out. Didn't think that was trivial. I hear from Cato that his computer froze. Rather sad. And I will have to do his marking for him as well. Fair play. This is the problem with these technology-enabled events, isn't it? Well, we're at haunt. Then question 5. MI5, not 9 to 5, was of course spooks. All of you got that. Let's see, what is Cato supposed to be marking? Probably number 2. Bear with me while I get on top of that. We then had 6 TV programmes, and they were, first off, Death in Paradise. Then we had Afterlife. Then The Witcher. Then we had Bloodlands. Then Glitch. And then True Blood. Those again. Death in Paradise. Then Afterlife. The Witcher. Bloodlands. Glitch. And True Blood. Question 7. Hydrogen and silver together make hag. I'm sure that most of you worked that out. We then had our mystery voices. They were all in horror films either now or in their day. Peter Capaldi, sometime Doctor Who, then Anthony Hopkins, and finally we saw her in Halloween End, didn't we, earlier in the quiz? Jamie Lee Curtis. The brand name for question 9 of the Consumers Association is Witch. And thence we on to the bones. They were the scapula, the clavicle, the humerus, the sternum, the femur, and the radius. In Agatha Christie novels, the main method of death is, of course, by butler. But if you don't count that as a method of death, then we will accept poisoning. Poisoning for a point. Poisoning for a point there. We then had our emojis, and they were various fictitious characters. First the ogre, and then the elf, then the biohazard, of course, a fake sign that they put on to keep you away from the chemtrail potion. Then scientist, no such thing. And then a goblin. And finally, the see no evil monkey. Well done. I think everyone did pretty well on that, although I see a couple went with grumpy for the goblin, which I think is pretty legit. That seemed like a reasonable guess to me. But there you go. No point, nevertheless. Quad ball is another name for Quidditch in question 13. Then question 14. We were looking for the bands from the mashups. Ray Parker Jr. versus Huey Lewis in the News. Then we had George Ezra versus Ella Henderson. And we finished with Queen versus Michael Jackson. Ray Parker Jr. versus Huey Lewis in the News. Ghostbusters theme, I'm afraid I will not take. You had to know Ray Parker Jr. If you don't, well, what a discredit to a man who made a tune for a film. Then we had George Ezra and Ella Henderson. And then we had Queen versus Michael Jackson. Question 15. We had some paraphrased desserts. And they were an eaten mess. Then a brownie. Then a brandy snap. Then a spotted dick. A treacle tart. And a baked Alaska. Is a snap truly an electronic photograph? I'm not sure. But that's what we're saying for today. Eaten mess, brownie, brandy snap, spotted dick, treacle tart, and baked Alaska. For question number 16, the lady with the box, the original human lady, not Gaia. Gaia is the original world, isn't she? Didn't she get jiggy with Uranus? Not like that. And make the Titans. Words to that effect. It's a complicated cosmology. Anyway, Gaia was a goddess. Pandora, the first human woman. Question 17. We had missing vowels. People who are less complete than they once were. And at this point in history, probably less complete than that. Adolf Hitler. Lacked a conscience, famously. Then Anne Boleyn. Horatio Nelson. And finally, Venus de Milo. The Venus de Milo lost an arm, or both arms. Question 18. The largest city in the world by population with a San is Santiago. Oh, well done. I see that you all got that right. Very good, very good. And then we had 9 states and a word spelt out. The word we are looking for is moonlight, and the states were, in order, Michigan, Oregon, Ohio, Nevada, Louisiana, Illinois, Georgia, Hawaii, Texas, and moonlight. Michigan, Oregon, Ohio, Nevada, Louisiana, Illinois, Georgia, Hawaii, Texas, and moonlight. That's a stomping 10 points available on that question. Imagine that. Then question 20. The German with the pact with the devil was, of course, Dr. Faust. Faust for the point. On we go, the final bit of today's quiz marking. It is The Wipeout. Jim Steinman's current West End rock musical. I've seen it, and it's dreadful. It's Bat Out of Hell. The metal from which bullets are made is lead. You'd have thought really that would be unhealthy, wouldn't you? Has toxic properties, so maybe someone should buck their ideas up with that one. Then number 3, Nothing Lasts Forever, preempted Die Hard. Die Hard is a movie from the film. The naughty fungus that you shouldn't eat is the death cap, which means that the catacombs with 6 million people are in Paris. Paris for a point. And finally, do you see what they've done here with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? The family's called Sawyer, and they said that horror films couldn't do subtlety. Those again: Bat Out of Hell, Lead, Die Hard, Death Cap, Paris, and Sawyer. While the interwebs communicate with each other and update the final scores, I have just enough time to... Let's see, is everyone getting marked? Looks like Team 1 hasn't been done. What a nuisance. I'm going to have to catch us up on Team 1. While I am doing that, seamlessly multitasking, I can remind you that we have been fundraising for the good people of Médecins Sans Frontières around about Halloween, with all of those brutal chainsaw murders, axe killings. The services of Médecins Sans Frontières are more relevant than at any other time of year, arguably. So do, if you appreciate the quiz service, consider making a small donation. And thank you so much for the many of you who I know have contributed generously several times over the 2-year, or nearly 2-year run that we've had of Quizcazoatl. What do I mean nearly 2 year? 2.5 year run we've had of Quizcazoatl so far. Thank you, whoever is catching up on the Team 1 marking with me. We'll get there in a second. I wish scorched JPEG was a dessert, and yet. Alrighty. So, yeah, that'll come through. It's jolly quick these days, isn't it? This whole internet thing. I see, that's because Cato's answers only just came through. I understand. Thank you, Ryan, for helping out with that. Final positions we have in 6th place, notwithstanding that his answers did eventually get marked. On 97 points, it's the one and cut only. In 5th, we have the Lins on 105.5. That has been a winning score enough times in the past. I don't think this was the hardest week, but some of these scores are outrageous. In 4th place, the Lockdown Haircuts on 109.5. 5 points behind. Playing for the first time and doing very well, it's the Bio Bitches on 114.5. They trail second by 4 points, 118.5. And that means, could you have foreseen that a team of goths would do well in the Halloween quiz? Sounds a bit hippie to me. Have an absolutely stomping 127.5 points. Seems outrageous. And doesn't actually necessarily look like it adds up. Have I got an adding problem here? Goodness me. Well, oh, I see, because there were lots of people playing for the WHO. There's the difference. All right, well, it's a fair cop. With the scores total up, the Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me team have done absolutely excellently. That's one of the highest scores we've ever had, 127.5. Well played, deserving champions. And finally, last but not least, I came on the very cusp of forgetting to say that there were 779 homicides in the UK in the 29 to 2020 season, and that means Mike's dad, with a guess of 650, has again come in closest. So, Mike, if you could get in touch either on the Facebook page or the Quizcazoatl email or whatever would suit, your dad is owed a Quizcazoatl publess pub quiz not available in the shop t-shirt or other exciting memorabilia. So get in touch with us, and as a double spot prize winner, we will sort him out. Well played, Mike's dad. To everyone else, thank you for joining us. We will be back in another 2 weeks. We would love to see you then. In the meantime, enjoy the autumn. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. But